Hello, Craftin' Buddies. It's Late Night Lori from Lori's Little Bit of Craftin' coming to you at 11:46 p.m. on Thursday, August 14th. Welcome. Had a little bit of snafu with my video starting, and let me get my iPad up here in case anybody else is up late. Let me try to move my light a little bit. We'll get rid of the glare. And let's do just a couple of quickie announcements. First off, through August 31st, Stampin' Up! Has 15% off the 2025 to 2027 in color products. There's a ton of stuff included in this special. So cardstock, the in color designer series paper, ribbons, embellishments, blends, I'm pretty sure. The markers probably. Designer series paper that has in colors in it. And kits. I saw the new kit for August was included in the sale. And I saw scrapbooking kits. So there's just a ton of stuff. Check it out. All right. Secondly, if you are local to me, this coming Wednesday, I will be having my coffee and a card at Cat's Coffee Shop in Waterford. We start at 10 o'clock, and you can drop in anytime between 10 and noon. I have just a simple project. It shouldn't take you real long. We're going to be making a birthday card and a tag set, and you can make as many as you want. I should have enough supplies to have some variety. So that's that. And then there is a new product of the month that's going to be starting. We're going to launch it in December. We are not going to have celebration anymore, but we're going to have this product of the month. So every month, Stampin' Up! Is going to feature a special product. It's going to be available for $5. And I'm of the understanding that it might be a stamp set, it might be a variety of products, but it's going to be $5 if you make a qualifying $75 purchase. So that means before shipping and tax, $75, you will be able to add that product to your cart for $5. So let's say you don't make a purchase in January that qualifies, but in February you make a purchase and there's still product from that January special. You can purchase that January product. You can't get February's product unless you have another order of $75 or more, or if you make two orders, you can get the February one and the January one if you want. So it's individual orders of $75. So anyway, I will keep providing information on that as we get closer to the launch date. I'm not sure exactly when in December. We're going to be releasing more information on that, but I will keep you posted as I find out things. So tonight, I've been kind of putzing around. That's why I'm late. I apologize for that. I was creating this card for tonight to use up some of these extra sweaters that I had from the last couple of nights when we did some of these cards. So I did this card last night. These two cards were 2 nights ago. This was the night before last. And tonight we're just going to do something like this. I was flipping through the catalog, just kind of looking for ideas. And I was paging through and I saw this, and I have not done this technique for quite some time. I enjoy this technique, so we're going to do some block stamping. Okay, and I don't know if that's what they call it or not, but they're calling it block it. So I thought I'd play around. Now this was kind of my thought process when I first started. I don't like it all how it turned out, but it was kind of giving me a template of what I wanted to do. So we went from this very elementary one, my rough draft, to this. And maybe I should put my rough draft on the left and my finished product on the right. And you can see this one looks a little bit more refined, and maybe it's not your style. But I wanted it to look kind of rustic. And I think that worked. So we are going to do this with a slightly different color palette. And I'm using the new Stay Warm stamp set. These are reversibles. So you can stamp the detail side and then you flip the photopolymer stamp over and you have just the fill part of the stamp. So you only have 7 stamps, but you use both sides because they're designed so that the images work back to back, if that makes sense. And then I'm not going to put a sentiment on the new one. This sentiment is from the Simply Said set because I don't remember exactly what is in the box that was delivered today. My brown box that came from my UPS driver. And I'm anxious to open that. I haven't opened it up yet. I know I've got catalogs in there, so that'll be a fun thing. But these were the colors that I used for this one. So I've got Flirty Flamingo, Pretty Peacock, and Soft Seafoam. So Flirty Flamingo, Pretty Peacock, Soft Seafoam. And I ended up using the Fluid 100 watercolor paper for this. I used some of that Woven Textures designer series paper just to kind of give it a little offset border here. They're not equal borders. I did that intentionally. And I got my color combination by looking at my color coach. So these are, hello Mama Juju, welcome. These are color coaches from Stampin' Up. So I use this one, which is the Pretty Peacock, Flirty Flamingo, and Soft Seafoam. I also have my color wheel, but sometimes it's just quicker for me to look at the back of my stamp set because I print those on adhesive paper and I just stick them to all of my stamp pads so that I know Flirty Flamingo has these color suggestions. Soft Seafoam has these color suggestions. So it's just a good tool that I like to use. So what I'm going to do is probably have an avalanche if I don't move some of this stuff out of my way. We are going to play a little bit with Early Espresso, and I'm going to move this over so we can kind of see it. So I'm starting with Early Espresso, and what I was looking at was originally, I think, Calypso Coral, was it? No, I think I started with Cajun Craze. That's what I did. I started with Cajun Craze, pulled in the crushed curry, pulled in the Early Espresso, but thought about it, and if I use, let's say, this dark sweater on here, it might not stand out enough against that Early Espresso. So I am making the Early Espresso my card base. So we've got 8.5 by 11.5. I scored it once at 4.25, and then I cut it once at 5.5. So I've got my standard card size. And I'll go ahead and burnish this and kind of get it out of the way for now. I have a couple of little strips. I'm cheating with my border that I have on here. I could use a whole piece, but I had these handy, so I'm just going to cheat. And then here's my piece of the Fluid 100 watercolor paper. And I have this cut down to 3.5 by 5. Yep, 3.5 by 5. So I'll use this for the sentiment maybe. And the reason why I'm not putting a sentiment on here, I don't remember if I mentioned it because I'm still distracted by this box here that I want to open. I don't remember what's in there, and I'm hoping there's a set in there with a stamp set that I might want to use. So I'm just going to hold off on the sentiment right now, although I do have that one ready. Now, in the catalog, the sample does show the image stamped right on the paper. And I originally did this with, excuse me, with just our basic white, okay? I didn't like how it looked. It just didn't fill in enough to me because I didn't want to get it too wet because I know the paper kind of ripples, and you might not be able to see it, but it does kind of ripple when it gets too wet and then dries. And I knew it wasn't going to look how I wanted it to with the sweater on here, which is why I used the fussy cut one. So I'm starting out with our Fluid 100 paper, and we'll see. I'm intending on using this sweater, but we'll see. So instead of using the early espresso, I pulled in Petal Pink. And I think that's going to make an interesting color combo. We'll see how well this Petal Pink shows up on our paper here. Let me get a piece of paper towel because I tend to get things a little wet. And I'm going to be using my water spritzer. And this is just filled with water. You can fill it with alcohol too, depending on what your personal preference is. So let's go ahead and start with the Petal Pink. And all I'm going to do here is ink up the block. And I'm kind of looking through to make sure I have enough ink on here. And then I'm going to take my spritzer and I'm going to get this pretty wet. Okay, let's do a little bit more. There we go. And if it pools up a little bit, hopefully you can see that, I just kind of move the ink around so that it kind of blends how I want it to. And then if there's extra, I just dab that off the corner. So let's go ahead and stamp this on here, and hopefully it'll add enough color. Now, what you can see me pushing here is that I know I have more liquid down here, so I'm pushing it toward this top corner because I can see that, I'm not sure if it shows up on the camera as much, but I can see that color hasn't gone all the way to the top, and it might not, but we'll get it kind of up there, and it is supposed to look a little abstract, okay? So that's pretty good. A little bit in that corner didn't come through, but quite honestly, I'm happy with that. So we'll dry this off, and then we're going to use our crushed curry and do the same thing. Put a fair amount of ink on there, and then do our spritzer again. And this is a pretty vibrant color, and I may have used either too much or not enough water because it's not spreading out on my block quite how I expected. So let's just try a little bit more water, and that may help mitigate the strength of the color a little bit. Or this might not turn out how I wanted it to. Hello, Steph. Welcome. So we might have to do this block a couple of times, but I'm going to do this one down here. So I'm just spreading out that crushed curry, and it's actually spreading pretty good. And I'm just kind of making that juice go up toward the top of that block. So Steph, is this your first? This is not your first time here. I think I recognize your icon image. Oh, that turned out pretty good. All right, so we're going to let that dry. The Fluid 100 paper is nice because it is designed to absorb those extra bits of water. I could get my heat gun, excuse me, but I think this is going to dry pretty well. And I can always dab it a little bit too. There's just a little bit there that is too wet. All right, and then we're going to go with by Cajun Craze. Yeah, as soon as I looked at your pictures, that I don't know what kind of dog is that, a greyhound or a dachshund? It's hard to tell because it's like a quarter, not even a quarter, probably about a quarter inch on my screen. So it's quite small. All right, so now we're going to use Cajun Craze, and I guess it was working better when I did this. Have you used a dachshund? Okay. Or do you say dash hound? I used to have a dachshund. His name was Sparky. We called him Sparky the Wonder Wiener because he was a wiener dog. That's when my kids were little, and he was a fun dog. And he used to do tricks and stuff, so that's why we called him the Wonder Wiener. He was a good dog. All right, so this one looks pretty good. This is going to be pretty intense also. So I think I'll let just a little bit of that drip off. Have any of you used this ink blocking technique? Is it luscious? Yeah, it's hard when they get old. In fact, Sparky, his back, he had the back issues that those long dogs frequently end up with. It was kind of sad. All right, that did a little bit more mixing than I wanted, but that'll be okay because that's where I'm going to put that sweater. All right, so Mama Juju, you've done the ink blocking. It's pretty fun. I did kind of at my upline, we had a meeting at one point, and I did a bunch of techniques with spritzing and alcohol and the difference between alcohol and water and that kind of stuff. Lucius. All right. So kind of like Lucas, but Lucius because it's a boy name. I'm guessing. All right, so I think those colors will be kind of fun with this designer series paper. This came from one of the floral ones. All right, Mr. Butter. That's cute. All right, so I'm gonna let this dry just a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and put, I can get rid of this because I'm not gonna need this anymore. I am going to get some dimensionals. So I'm trying to do this card relatively quickly because it's really a simple card. A little messy, but not bad. Because I'm kind of anxious to get to my order. I want to see everything that's in there. Well, I did think Lucifer too, but that makes him sound evil, and I just don't think he's evil because he looks too cute to be evil. So you could always call him like Lukey or something as a nickname. All right, so let's go ahead and put this here. And then I'm going to go ahead and just like on this one, I'm going to go ahead and wrap that twine around there because I think it kind of just added a nice touch. It was probably more appropriate on this one because I put the stitching on there, but I'm done with the ones that I did stitching on, and I don't think this sweater is going to look quite as cute with the stitching on, but I think it'll still look nice with the twine wrapped around here. And I'm actually going to do, I think, 3 layers. I only did 2 the last time. And my paper's still a little bit damp. Oh, that makes sense. You know, when you do something silly, sometimes a nickname sticks. That's funny. Let's tie this bow first, just in case I need more baker's twine. See if I can get this going. Sometimes I have good luck with my bows and sometimes not so much, so that worked out pretty good. How did that work out, like the butter? I bet he was going really easy for several days. All right, and then with my twine here, I took my take your pick tool and just frayed out the edges just a little bit. I didn't want to make it look crazy frayed, but I wanted it to look a little more full. I could have done a double bow if I just wrapped and then put a glue dot on there, but I didn't. So it was storming by you too, Mama Juju? We haven't had rain for a couple of days now, but that's supposed to change this weekend. So that'll go there, and then I'm going to leave the sentiment blank. So the other thing that I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put some Stamp and Seal on here. And that's this side. All right, we're going to put just a nice thin edge on here. I'm just going to lay this down on here because I think it'll be easier for me. And then we'll put a little Stamp and Seal on this side. Oh, it's empty. I guess I'll use, oh, you had lightning too? Yeah, I actually like lightning storms. My Stamp and Seal is so strong that it does sometimes peel away my paper, so I have to be really careful. Yeah, we've had a lot of rain here too, and we're actually kind of lucky. Our yard is still kind of wet, but there are some places, I was reading an article, Milwaukee, which is to the north of me, there were cars in a parking ramp that were under like 13 feet of water. And I'm like, that is just crazy. All right, so that's going to go there. I think that's really kind of fun. What do you think? I think that mix of colors is just really appealing. All right, so let's do some glue. I like the lightning storms. The thunder sometimes is a little startling because it's like, oh, I guess that's closer than I thought. But I just love how, you know, the lightning's coming down and how it branches out. It goes back to, I mean, when I was a kid, we used to, I think my parents liked the thunder and lightning storms too. We used to, because our county is on Lake Michigan. I live about 40 minutes from the lake now, so I don't get there as often as I would like. I don't know if I posted a picture of our lighthouse recently, because I was there a couple weeks ago. We went into town and I kind of wanted to visit the lighthouse. But anyway, we used to go down by the lake, and they have all the rocks along the lake to keep the erosion in check. And we used to just park there and watch the waves just crash up on the rocks. So let's go ahead and put some of these antique pearls on. And I'm going to use just little ones again. I should probably move that up. There's a little splatter on here. Although, you know, splatter, that's a good idea. I'm going to get my Cajun Craze Stampin' Blend. And I'm going to put a little splatter on here because just by accident, I think that's a cool idea. There. I do it very gently with the paintbrush end. Oh, took out a lot of transformers. That'll knock your power out sometimes for a long time, huh? We were lucky. We didn't lose power, but because we're kind of in a rural area, we also have a generator. So that's a nice little piece of insurance. Again. Oh boy. It's pretty scary when a hospital has to go on backup power. All right, so there's our card. Let me get rid of my paper towel. What do you think? Pretty peacock or early espresso? And just guess that there's going to be some kind of sentiment on here. Can you see that little bit of splatter on there? I don't know if it shows up. Let me turn on my other light. Maybe that'll help. I don't know if you can see the little bit of splatter on there. Oh, now I think you can. But I think that added a little bit of fun to it. The other thing that I did on this card that you may not be able to see is I added some Wink of Stella around what would be the ribbing. Just because I thought it would be fun to have a little bit of glimmer. And I think I'll add glimmer here too. It's getting to the point where I might need to squeeze a little bit more Wink of Stella into my brush, but so far it's still adding some shimmer, not a crazy amount of shimmer. And I just kind of painted on these. Nothing exact, because I probably notice it more than the recipient would. Thank you, Steph. So yeah, I like them. I like them. So again, my inspiration came from the catalog. This is on page 110 of our current annual catalog. So let me get some of these things out of the way. And I want to pull in, you painted your sister a card. That sounds like a cute card. And I'm a chicken mom, so I love chicken stuff. All right, so this is what I'm anxious to open because it's heavy, but I know that's because my mini catalogs are in there. So if you need a mini catalog, you'll have to send me a message and let me know what your address is if you haven't ever placed orders with me. So I'm going to move the box out of the way, maybe. Yes, you should, you can message me your chicken pictures. That would be fun. I have a baker's dozen. All right, so because my box is kind of big, I don't know how this is going to work out. I can maybe cut off a flap. Make sure I don't cut anything important behind here. There. How's that? Can you see better? Alrighty. And these other things I think I can just kind of fold out of the way. Oh, now you get to see all my freckles. All right, so let's see what I have. I have these Snowy Delights decorative masks. Chicken math, yeah, and I do sourdough bread, so I had, when I started last year, I got my first batch of chickens. We took a few home, and then I told my husband, I said, you know, I think I want to get a few more. So we got a few more. And then this year, after our onstage convention, I told him when we get home, we're going to go get more chickens. And I had in mind how many I thought I would get, but I wasn't sure. And then we went back and got 2 more, and I ended up with a baker's dozen because one of mine had passed away. So I was going to have 14, and then the one died. So we ended up with a baker's dozen. This is a set of decorative masks to do snowflakes. Pretty cool. I'm looking forward to using these. I like these decorative masks. If you've never used the ones from Stampin' Up, you can't see it on the camera, I imagine. You might be able to, but there are numbers in the upper left-hand corner. There's a notch so that when you lay it out on your first piece, if you've got like a grid paper or something, you can draw that notch and then just draw a line around the bottom corner, because then each of your masks, as you take one away, you can put the next one on in the exact location it needs to go for that continuity of design. So those will be kind of fun. I don't remember what else I ordered that go with the snowflakes, but we'll see in a minute or two. All right. I gotta shift some things so I can move things around. Now these are the Joyful Days Memories and More card pack. These are going to be really fun. Now, a lot of people use these for memory keeping, but I think they're going to make some awesome little cards. So that's what I got these for. There are 54 cards in here. So some of them look to be like 3.5. Let me find my ruler. 3 by 4 probably. Yeah, 3 by 4 and then 4 by 6. So those are going to be pretty cool. I like that top design. And then I have this branching out. There's some nice sentiments on here. Birthday, thinking of you, wishing you a day filled with many happy moments. That's pretty cool. Oh, these are neat. Some of the stuff is part of the autumn suite. So we'll figure it out in a minute here. These are called the streaked dots. And these look like coffee or tea to me. They kind of look marbleized. I don't know if you can see that. But I'm going to go ahead and I like to slice open the side of my embellishments and like my embossing folders. And then I can leave my adhesive intact. And then all I have to do is slide out these. So these, I don't know if you can see those, but they're like creamy looking. They're not super flat, so they'll if you mail them, I usually put a cover sheet of cardstock that I've embossed so that the dots don't go through my envelope. But those are so pretty. So those are streaked dots. I don't remember what they go with, but I'm sure I'll have fun. And then these are adorable. Now this is a set of dies, so I don't keep the wrapper on that because it comes in a case. So these are the gingerbread man dies. I saw these and I'm like, okay, my list is getting so long and there are some things I just had to have. Look at these. So this is 18 dies. Let me get my pen because I like to mark on here how many dies are in the set if I don't put this on a magnetic sheet. But look at this guy. I was so excited to do this. This guy is a single die that you can make little gingerbread cards with. So it's going to score here in the middle. And then, Sala, welcome. Sorry I missed you. You missed our card so far, I think, but I'm doing an unboxing. So this little guy, I think, is going to be adorable. So that'll make a card, and those look really cute. Or, you know, I'm thinking you could cut it apart and make some kind of treat box with it. Lots of ideas. But here's like the the little squiggles that become the frosting. There's a piece of candy. There's some gumdrops. There's a bow. That's his scarf. Candy cane's a hat. Oh, and there's a couple little cutouts for different facial expressions and a sucker. That looks like it's 2 pieces, 3 pieces. This is going to be fun. Very fun to work with. That's all right. I was fashionably late to start. That's why I tell people when I come on, I'm either on from sometime between 11 p.m. and midnight Central Time. And it's almost 12:30 by me now. It's 12:22. I'm Central Time. Oh, this is, I'm not gonna, well, I should open this. So this is a Christmas Words Collage Hybrid Embossing Folder. That's a long title. And what this does, if you're not familiar with, hello, call me glitter. If you're not familiar with the hybrid embossing folders, I am going to slit this one as well because I do like to keep the plastic case or the plastic wrapper for my embossing folders. And I slice open the side of this as well because then I don't have to fight with the embossing folder. I need to trim part of this off though because it didn't cut straight. All right. It didn't slice open straight. It's morning for you, 8:23. Where are you? I'm guessing not in Australia because they're about 11 hours ahead. All right, so this is the embossing folder that you can make just a collage of the words, okay? Hello, Dana. Your whole crew is coming on. All right, and this one I'm going to go ahead and take out of the plastic because this comes in a plastic wrapper. But then you get this die that fits. And let me see if I can peel this off. This fits in here, Christmas, so that this will nestle right in here, there. So it's nestled in there. So when you put your cardstock in there and close it, then when you run this through, run it fold first through your machine, but then all of these embossed sentiments are cut out. They're all fussy cut. So this, I think, is awesome. All right, so that is, and you could ink this up too if you are just not going to cut them out, because if you ink it up, then that background will get all whatever your ink color is. I did that with that sunflower embossing folder. All right. Oh, the tape stayed on here. I'll fix that later. So that's pretty cool. Yes, I love this one. I really like the 3D embossing, the hybrid embossing folders. And they come as a set. All right, so you can use the embossing folder without the dies. You can use the dies without the embossing folder, but there's not a stamp, so it would look kind of silly. Although, you know what would probably work is if you cut this on a coordinating color of cardstock and then offset them, it would look like a shadow. That sounds like something I will be trying. Oops, this goes in here. Get that out of the way. All right, keep that for my embossing folder. Autumn trees and autumn trees. So this is a set, and I am going to be planning, is that how all the cut and emboss work? No. The embossing folder, the Stampin' Up! Embossing folders have to be specifically designed as a hybrid embossing folder to accommodate the die, all right? And you don't need a special machine. The Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine does that, but the embossing folder does need to say hybrid. All right. There is another one that, let me just pull this out. This one, this Peaceful Greenery, this is a 3D embossing folder. I think this is in the MIDI catalog or it's a new online exclusive, I'm not sure. But there is a track to put the die from here, but Stampin' Up! Doesn't recommend that you use it to cut because the embossing folder is not designed quite as thick as a hybrid folder is designed. All right, so you don't want to ruin your embossing folder by wearing it out with a cutting tool because the blades are sharp. You know, they're made to cut through paper and stuff. So you want to make sure that you're looking for the hybrid folders. And the Stampin' Up! Hybrid folders come as a set. They come with the embossing folder and the dies in one set. All right, so here is the autumn tree. Ooh, there's 2 sheets of dies on this one. So we've got 9 dies all together. So 9, and I'm going to write 1 of 2 and 9, and this is 2 of 2, just so that when I put my dies away, I can kind of do a head count and make sure I didn't forget one. But this is nice. It's got this little landscape of the deers and the grass and like a rock. There's another like a buck die here. I'm not sure. This is going to be to cut out, looks like the rocks. This is for the buck. This is for that tree. This is leaves for this tree. This obviously is this tree, or you can just cut out the outside too. So this is really pretty. All right. And here's another one, Amber Autumn. And here's the Amber Autumn dies. Oh, branching out. Here's the dies that go with this set. So we'll look at those together. Alrighty, let's see what this is. I liked this set for the oak leaves and the acorns. But this one also has a die cut to create like a layer. And it's going to be textured. You're going to want probably like the stamp or the take your pick tool brush. What do I have? That's in my other, I have it on my other take your pick tool. But the brush helps with the weeding that's necessary on here. But we've got, excuse me, we've got this die that'll take care of this pumpkin set. This is really cute. And then you've just got some random, this almost looks like it could be cattails or some kind of grass. Hello, Estrada Creations, welcome. So this will do the pine or the pumpkins. This will do the oak leaves and the acorns. And then you've got this background piece. I think this would be awesome in a foil. We'll see. We'll see how that looks. All right, so this is 5 dies. So, sorry I'm doing my housekeeping while we're unboxing here, but these are really pretty. Like I was mentioning, I'm planning on doing a fall fling. If you're local to me, I know most of the people commenting on here are not local to me, but so Estrada is from your group as well. Oh, look at these. I forgot about this one. So this is basically a branch. This, I don't know that it goes with anything on here. These dies may not cut out anything from the stamp, but they'll do accent pieces. But I love these border dies. So these are stitched, and then the corners are concave. That's pretty cool. See, I ordered this stuff and then I forgot what I ordered. And I was like, oh, I really like that. So when I put in my order, I try to wait until it comes in before I order any more, because sometimes I really like something and I end up ordering it multiple times, and I don't like that to happen. All right, so there is that one. Oh, these are some cloud cover ink pads for people that order from me in August. That will be a gift. Oh, this is pretty cool. This is an uneven ribbon. Is that what it's called? Let's see. Irregular. English. Irregular weave trim. So it's 3/8 inch. There's about 10 yards on here. And this, I have the end here, but it's taped. There we go. This is an interesting ribbon. Oh, Pam didn't go live to me, so you're rating me live again. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's fun to have the extra interaction, so that's great. So this is, it's kind of stiff. In the catalog, when I looked at it, it almost looked like it might have been like a silicone or a strange texture, but it's very smooth. It's not tacky at all. Let's see how it does on a little bow. It may be more of an accent piece, but it was so unique, I thought, no, I have to order this just to see what it's like. So that's not too bad. That's not too difficult to work with. Not quite like a satiny ribbon, but if you play with it a little bit, this would be fun on a Halloween card because it's so web-ish. You could use alcohol blends to color this, I'm sure. Let's see. Let's get a piece of scrap paper here. And I'm just going to play with this. I've got my Cajun Craze. Let's see how this colors. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I love it. This would probably work too if you, I wonder if you could do like a blending brush or something over there and lift this off, if it would leave the design behind. That's pretty cool. I'm glad I ordered this. So these are all things that are becoming available in September. Oh, snap. Just wait. Here we go. Oh, snap. This goes with those gingerbread dies, so I'm not going to pull those out again. But you can see the different faces, so there's die cuts for those. What's it called? It is called Irregular Weave Trim. I can give you the number if you want to make a note of it. 165903. But it is really cool. Really cool. So like I said, unless you're a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, it's not available until September 3rd is when that catalog and the new online exclusives go live. So with that gingerbread die set, some of these eyes were there as dies as well. So you could die cut those, and then your back piece could make the eyes highlight however you want them to look. Season's Eatings instead of Season Greetings. I thought this was just so fun. So and just as a reminder, here's those dies. Adorable. I think they're adorable. How big is this? So the gingerbread guy, this is only 80%. So he's big. He's big enough for those dies. I just thought that was so fun. All right, we're getting to the end. Oh, this one. This is a stamp set from $1 Million Achiever. I know, I love puns too. This is from Sharon Armstrong. She's from Texas. And these are just, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that very well. Yeah, irregular weave trim. Yep, irregular weave trim. But these, the stamps on here basically give you the outline and some of the fill design. And then you can use markers, blending brushes, whatever, to add some color to this. And it just gives it a real calypso kind of Caribbean vibe. So you can see there's pine trees in there. Hopefully you can see that without too much glare. But I thought this is going to be just a very fun set. Whether you're stamping and making cards out of it, the Happy is pretty wide. Let me pull in a card here. So it is going to just, it'll have about an 1/8 inch on either side. Brain fog, yeah, I know how that is. Our bodies do that to us. It's not our fault. But it will fit on a 4 1/4 card, or if you do it landscape, it'll fit super easy. But that is a very fun sentiment. And this is almost like distinctive. So if you get one like this, where it's got a very detailed design like that, make sure that you are not over inking your stamp. If you add too much ink, you fill in some of these places where it's designed to automatically give you texture, all right? So the key is less ink, not more, okay? And then I have this new Early Espresso and Old Olive Linen thread pack. This goes with the autumn items that I had. And then, ooh, there's some catalogs. More catalogs. I can only show you the front cover. I can't show you anything else until it goes live. And it goes live September 3rd. I've gone through this and there are so many more things that I want to get. But stay tuned. September 3rd, that'll go live. And then we have a couple of kits. Oh, this one's cool. This is a bunch of thanks. Let me open this so we can kind of see. The kits are available now. And then I'll show you some of the designer series paper too if you want to hang around. I know I've been on here for almost an hour. All right, so this is a kit that has stamping. So it's thanks a bunch, thank you, to, from. So basically, thank you for your love and support, and then so very grateful. It comes with everything you need. So stuff in the kits collection. I don't know why my screen went down low here. There we go. Kits that are in the kits collection come with everything you need, including a block, adhesives, if there's twine or other embellishments, it comes with the envelopes. So this has these cute little, oh, I know, but when you're a demonstrator, you get a good discount. So, and you can, you know, if you ever want a really good deal and you just want to snatch up a really good deal, you join, you take the starter kit, which you get to pick all of your product. You get $125 worth of product. You only have to pay $99. You get a free paper pumpkin kit. You get free shipping. And then you start getting a discount. You'll get a 20% discount on all your stuff. And that would be basically for your first full quarter. There are minimums to maintain your discount, but if you don't maintain your discount, it doesn't matter. You just drop and it doesn't really matter. And then you can join again later and take up a new kit if you wanted. So yeah, we're all broke for a reason. It's therapy. All right. So anyway, this kit, it's called Bunch of Thanks Kit, and it makes all these cute little trifold bouquets. And they have little tags that you can probably either just slide in. This one's designed so that it was actually, I think they used dimensionals on that. I'll probably keep mine loose or make my own tags so that they slide in and out. But I thought that was really cute. But it comes with everything you need. The tags are already die cut. The floral pieces are die cut. So basically it's punch, stamp, and put together. Therapy isn't therapy if it's not expensive. Exactly. All right, and then this kit, let me get the debris out of the way. This kit is very interesting. Look at these. These are lightweight acorns. I was anxious to get this kit because I saw it demonstrated by Stampin' Up. They're probably styrofoam, is my guess, with little styrofoam beads on here. Yeah, very good for Happy Meal or Happy Mail, I mean, meal. I'm married to an Italian, so it's always about food for us. I like to use them to leave on tables if I leave a tip. Okay, look at this Harvest Home Garland Kit. So these acorns go in as accents in the garland. You could easily turn this into a wreath or place setting decor items. You know, there's just a ton of leaves. See how thick, can you see how thick this is? Those are all sheets of the different leaves. And I was curious to see how long this was because I couldn't find it in the description. So I want to just open this up. I should probably just try to snip it. I want to see how long that garland piece is, or if I need Happy Mail, Happy Mail. Right, exactly. I wanted to see how long this was. And if I wanted to put it like, you know, on a credenza or something, would I need to have two of them? So this is a wrapped wire, and it is pretty long. So let me straighten this out a little bit and we'll see if it's as tall as I am. It is probably about as tall as I am. I would say it's probably about 5.5 feet long. So that's going to make a nice garland piece. So it's pretty long. I'll probably measure it with a tape measure at another time. But I'm impressed that it was that long. When they demonstrated it online, it looked like it was pretty big, but I wasn't sure if they had done multiple kits to get it to look like that. So here with these leaves on here, I'm just going to take one of these out. These are all die cut already, and like this one, it's all on textured paper. So when you pop these out, they're already all laser cut. Nature Journal, yeah, this is like almost like a linen paper. This one is. I don't know if they're all the same, but it's textured. I don't know that you can see the texture, but it's like almost like homemade paper. Oh, there's some that are foil. This has just got so many possibilities. So there's like 4 sheets of foil ones. There's a gray textured. There's a balmy blue that's, you can see the veins, but it's not textured otherwise. We've got crumb cake. We've got more metallic for maple leaves and something else. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. There's some green here. Couple of green. I don't know if that's probably Calypso Coral. Soft seafoam. Just lots of choices. Oh, and then there's some that are, thank you so much for giving me thumbs up. I appreciate it. That does help me out. And this one has these die cuts and they're attached. So when you put it together, I don't want to lose that leaf. When you put it together, they're joined. So you can see, it's hard to tell on the picture, but this makes a really full piece. So you could have, even if you wanted to do the garland, you could have them spread out further and you could use those other pieces as just other accent pieces for other things. So this may be a kit class as well for those that are local to me. Or maybe I'll do an online class for those that want to order the kit. We can put it together during a private session as well. So then we have some papers. Let me get rid of this box now because all that's left is some catalogs. My husband doesn't even ask anymore when I have boxes delivered. He just doesn't ask. All right. Modern Christmas. And I like to slice these as well. And there's usually a nice sealed seam on here. And I can just go right up the seam. Now that one didn't do at the corner as well, but that way I can leave the adhesive kind of intact and it doesn't stick to my paper. It is Happy Mail. All right, so these are, these are black and whites on one side with foil on the other side. Those are pretty cute. All right, so polka dots. I love this one. And you get 2 sheets of each. Now this one, what I kind of envisioned was coloring alternating rows, alternating rows on here. This could look a little obscene depending on how you use it. So, I don't know. I may just use this side. We'll have to see. But this is like a series of circles. So you've got the white circles and then there's like a foil outline circle, if you can see that. And then this is just some daubs of color, well, the black and white rather. And then this black, white, and gold. And this is not a super shiny foil. It's more like a matte foil. I like that. Fa la la, la 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 la. That's very pretty. Oh, I think that's holly, right? No, mistletoe is what I meant. Mistletoe and mistleberries. The black and white Christmas trees. That's really pretty. This would make a classy, just a black and white Christmas card with maybe some red ribbon. And then some stars. That's a pretty set of paper. All right. Let me slide this back in here, hopefully without ripping it to bits. And this is the Autumn Toile. So there's a sweet, I think, or the paper pumpkin kit that's coming out is, I think, like Fall for Toile or something, and this coordinates, or the paper pumpkin kit coordinates with this. Let me get my little slicer. And we will just slice through the side of my paper here. Alrighty. Black and white December daily. Is that like a calendar or a journaling that you do? This will go with that tree one. I don't remember even what it's called. But just a nice light grid design. This is really pretty. And the dies, I'm guessing, may or may not cut out some of these pieces. So it looks like we probably have 4 designs with 3 sheets each. Yes. So some of these designer series paper used to come with just 2 sheets of each, a daily journal. Okay, cool. They used to come with just 2 sheets and 6 designs. Now you have 4 designs, 3 sheets, because a lot of times what would happen is if you're making several cards, you just run out of the designer series paper, especially if there's one design you like in particular. So I like it that there is fewer designs, but you get more sheets. So this one has pheasants on there and the rocks. And then this is kind of a, I don't know, not really wheat, but a vine sort of thing. This is pretty. So that goes with those pumpkins. So the dies in the stamp would make a nice accent piece, and this would be a nice backdrop for that. And this is just a very subtle, boxy kind of design. Oh, and these are foxes on there with a tree. That's interesting. And then I like the stripes a lot. I'm not sure that I'll use the fox side a whole lot. We'll have to see. But I do like the back sides of all of these, the B sides in particular. But this is kind of a retro kind of design. That's interesting. That would make a nice masculine card. I'm a friend of mine, her husband does like duck hunting and that, and he might like a card with that. It's more masculine. Masculine journal, yeah, definitely. All right, then we have earthen toned metallic. I'm going to use this time, see how it works. That doesn't give me a long enough blade here. Okay, so this we only have 3 sheets. They're all the same color. They're kind of a brown, kind of a coppery brown. Maybe that's early espresso. I wonder if it says. It just says brown. So that'll go really good with that toile paper. Very cool. Oh, here's some more of that branchy design. Gathering together. These are all coming out in September, so they'll be available September 3rd, unless you join with me now, and then you can order anytime. You do your starter kit with whatever comes up to $99 or $125. But then you can place additional orders, and all this, you would have access to everything just like I do. And then on those subsequent orders, you get your discount. All right, so, oh, these are pretty. Ooh, we'll start with this side. Can you see the glimmer in here? So there's some metallic accents on the veins of the designs. So this one, it looks like, oh, so this is the same paper, but we have basic beige as the background, and this is white as the background. And then the back side is it's almost like a wood tone. And then here we just have, looks like some oak leaves, acorns, and then some foliage and berry type pieces. Oh, look at that one. That's really fun. And this is a nice plaid with a brown. This is, it's got all kinds of circles on it. I don't know that you can see that in the camera. Probably not. But it's pretty cool. Part of the design is just like almost like water spots, but it covers the whole sheet. And then this is those leaves again with the white background. Oh, there's some mushrooms on there. I didn't notice that the first time. And then that looks like just basic beige and white. This is a green, and this has some metallic stripes in it as well. It gives it kind of just a shimmery look. Yeah, you can see how that shimmers there. And then more kind of a dark wood tone on the back. And then another leafy design. This has the veins in the gold again. And this might be a timid type. Cajun Craze, I bet. Cajun Craze, probably. Those are really pretty. Well, when you're done, you can come clean my kitchen. Actually, it's not like I cook very often, so my kitchen's not very dirty. I should cook more, but, you know, who has time? I'm retired. I'm retired. All right. And this I got 2 because I think I ordered the extra pack, and one probably came with a suite or a bundle. So this is kind of like a snowflake design with all of the foliage. That's pretty cool. So 2 of that. And this is almost like frost on your glass, but it's green. I think that might be shaded spruce. And this has just got all kinds of little foliage pieces. And the background is pretty peacock. This is a really pretty design. I didn't realize that was all snowflakes with the evergreen boughs. And this is snowflakes. Ooh, this is pretty. This would make a classy card. This would be good for a journal too, huh? Cooking and cleaning seems to take most of your week. Yeah, I'm not kidding. I get you. They grow up. And then they move out of the house. And then they come back as grandchildren that you can spoil and send home. This is really pretty. And then the bigger. I like these that have like the snowflake muted background on there. Well, this is fun too. The pine cones and the snowflakes. And more of this almost like frost on there. Another dark piece. I really like those. And then that looks like just maybe spruce. Does spruce have the long pine needles? Those are pretty. It's going to make some pretty stuff. All right, so I ordered way too much stuff. All right, I ordered way too much, but it is what it is. And I'll make stuff, you know. So that's all I have for tonight. That took kind of way longer than I usually go, but I was excited to look through the order, you know. I couldn't just let that box sit there, right? Thank you all for joining me. If there is something in particular you want me to play with, scroll through the video again and watch these. Yeah, teenage years can be a little trying, but you'll make it through. All right, so if there's something in particular you want to see, these masked snowflakes would probably be good, maybe even with embossing paste. I'll have to do some playing around with that. All right, then I gotta figure out what belongs in here. I've forgotten. Here, those belong in there. I get so excited. There we go. All right. I think maybe, are you offering some children up for borrowing? It'll either make people want kids or not want kids, right? All right, Christmas words collage, that's for this. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get my things put away. Thank you all for stopping by. I thought I sliced this open. And, well, back to the cards. Here's the cards we did tonight. So, pretty easy. Ink your block, spritz them, find some colors you like, and add something. All right. So thanks for stopping by, ladies. I'm going to clean up my stuff and head to bed. It's 1 a.m. here. So until next time, happy crafting.